All right, here we go. LGBTQ representation in Fallout. Time to learn some real knowledge, some important knowledge, together as a family. So, in the first game, after rescuing Tandy from the Khans, the Vault Dweller can ask if she would like to get together, or if the player is male, she will state that she is not that kind of girl, and you go find a Brahma or something, basically telling you to go fuck a cow. That's great. I love it. If the player is female, Tandy will stutter her words and say, listen, but I like guys, okay? Phew, excuse me, I got stuff to do. Ah! Interesting. That is a very different reaction, yes. Maybe even implying interest, if you can believe such a thing. Okay, Fallout 2. Fallout 2 was the first game in the series to introduce same-sex romance option. When did Fallout 2 came out? That's really interesting. Hang on, I want to look up when Fallout 2 came out. 1998? Like before The Matrix? That's fucking cool. Wow. How far ahead of its time was Fallout? That's insane. That is absolutely insane. And like super cool as well. Fallout is based. Fallout is absolutely based. That is wonderful to hear. Let's learn a little bit more about LGBT representation in the Fallout universe. So yeah, Fallout 2 was the first game in the series to introduce same-sex romance options. The Chosen One can romance and marry Davin and Miria, two siblings residing in the town of Modoc. If the player chooses to sleep with either of them, their father Grisham will burst into the room to initiate a shotgun wedding. The Bishop crime family is accepting of same-sex relationships. If the Chosen One joins the family, John Bishop says he can get glitter boys for male players and references swinging the other way from female players. Pronoun gay, woke. I think this might be a little bit woke, yes. John Bishop. I don't think it's John Bishop from Doctor Who, no. I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy, right? I try to like log on to an RPG, not knowing, you know, what kind of encounters I'm going to have, what kind of connections I'm going to build, what kind of fights I'm going to have, just so that they can current day us with present day California shit. I log on to Fallout 2 and find fucking pronouns! There, I did the thing. I did the thing that the embarrassing fun man did. Did you see there's more and more people who are like, oh no, embarrassing fun man guy. He actually had a point. Fucking gender ambiguity! By the way, we support we support trans, LGBT, non-binary, and all other folks here at Something Blue Audio, to be completely clear. Thank you, Ryan. That's what I want. I had to, man. I fucking have to. Woke good, Ryan. Yes, woke is indeed good. Yes. Imagine Ronald Reagan going woke. Can you imagine? Characters in Fallout 2 who have the gay. Let's find out. David and Maria, yeah, two siblings in Modoc, can be romanced, slept with, and married regardless of gender. Leslie Ann Bishop, the wife of John Bishop, can be romanced and slept with regardless of gender. Miss Kitty, the proprietor of Cat's Paw in New Reno, can be slept with regardless of gender. After defeating the Enclave, female punks on the PMV Valdez will comment that they heard Badger was gay until he began a relationship with his girlfriend Sue. Ronald Reagan literally suggested that a reporter who asked about the HIV crisis only cared about it because he was gay. Ronald Reagan literally suppressed research into HIV to kill as many gay people as possible. Ronald Reagan was a monster. Glenda Close, first doctor of the Reaver movement, will flirt with the player while outside of combat, regardless of gender. Now, this one is from Fallout Tactics. She will also state that there is a passionate energy between them, as well as stating that if the player searches their soul, they will find love for her. Paladin Emerald Solo is described as female, but has a male voice and voice actor. That's interesting. And then we get to Fallout Brotherhood of Steel. And I don't know much about the Fallout universe, but I do know that Fallout Brotherhood of Steel is kind of seen as like the black sheep of the Fallout family. So it's really nice that they've also continued their the LGBT representation. He was deeply evil, would never go woke, and I hate that people deify him across the political spectrum. The media loved him as part of the issue because Ronald Reagan was the last time that liberals and conservatives could agree on just how many minorities it was worth sacrificing to like keep the like white politosphere together and stable. That's why like liberals love Ronald Reagan. So do you think when I make this into a video, should I go like respectful about it, or should I try and piss off the chuds? What are we thinking? Are we thinking like are we thinking try to have some self-fucking respect, or should I try and just pick fights with people? Let's find out. Do I stick the pronoun man on the thumbnail? You know, I made that Rings of Power is great video just to piss them off and like get angry reactions from them, and it worked. That was great. That was a good video. Ruby, a female escort in Carbon, can provide her services to player characters, including the 2 female characters, Nadia and Patty. Know it, remarking, "Women know what women want, sugar. Come here and I'll show you." That was definitely written by a man. Alright, so Fallout 3. Now we get to the first of the Bethesda-made Fallouts. And I'm very interested to see whether it's better or worse representation than the ones from the fucking 90s, which had pretty good representation, especially for the 90s. So, Carol and Greta, a DC native who was born before the Great War, Carol had narrowly evaded vaporization by seeking refuge inside of a fallout shelter. She emerged from the rubble of the smoldering capital and eventually found safety inside the Museum of History. Although she has since been transformed into a ghoul, Carol was able to find love in Underworld when she met Greta during the mid-2210s. Together, they have jointly ran a bed and breakfast called Carol's Place for over 60 years. It has been many years since she has seen or heard talk of her adoptive son, Gob, who had left the sanctuary of the Underworld. I know who Gob is. Anthony Ling, a merchant who runs New Urban Apparel at Tenpenny Tower, flirts with the security guard and Chief Gustavo. Anthony's AI package for his behavior is Anthony Ling flirt with male guards. Well, that's pretty explicit. Bittercup, a resident of Big Town, flirts with the Lone Wanderer and asks if they're in a relationship, regardless of gender. On subsequent visits, she gives the player random items. Emmeline, a mercenary who travels with Sydney, is said to be her faithful girlfriend. Flack, a weapons merchant who runs Flak and Shrapnels at Rivet City, is referred to as Old Queen Flack by Grouse if enslaved during the quest Strictly Business. Queen is a term used to refer to gay men, and the script note for the dialogue reads, "Genuinely mystified as how the player managed to enslave one tough dude, Queen as in gay." So what I see here is one pretty big entry, and then 4 little ones. It appears that there's actually about as much. Lots of is said to. That's what I was about to get to. It's interesting how, like, in Fallout 2, all of these characters are very explicitly LGBT. And then in Fallout 3, there's a lot of they're implied to be LGBT. You know what I mean? They're LGBT, but only off screen. They're LGBT in the same way that Disney characters who are LGBT are LGBT. You know, just enough that you don't fucking notice. For real, I would say that's a step down. Alright, and now we go on to Fallout New Vegas. Maybe the greatest game of all time. And this game was not made by Bethesda. It was made by Obsidian. So I'm just going to make a wild prediction right here and say that it improves a little bit with the Obsidian stuff. Let's find out. Sorry, Todd Howard, but it is what it is, and you kind of dug this one yourself. So, Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas introduced a wide array of LGBTQ characters to the series, many of whom would serve prominent roles in the game's story, such as the recruitable companions Arcade Gannon, Legend, and Veronica, also Legend. Factions throughout Mojave Wasteland hold differing views on homosexuality, which influence many of their actions. The New California Republic itself prohibits all forms of discrimination based on sexuality, though only within their jurisdiction. Major Knight, an NCR state officer stationed at Mojave Outpost, states that people are not as accepting of homosexuality in the Republic. He also states that the Republic's a sight better than other alternatives. Caesar's Legion, on the other hand, holds extremist views towards homosexuality, constituting it as a capital punishment. Jimmy, a male sex worker in Westside, speaks about his past as a Legion slave and the homosexual relationship he had with a Centurion, stating that he was his tent servant and that it was our secret and he'd protect me. This ended when they were nearly caught, resulting in the Centurion's attempt to kill him. He adds that men have to meet obligations and the child count, And if so, friendships are a sight more equal than the level of most Legion husbands and wives. Despite homosexuality being punishable by death, many Mojave inhabitants make comments about it being a common practice among the Legion. That tracks as well. See, the world building in New Vegas is so much better than like almost any game. I love that like Fallout 3, it's like, they might be gay, you know, if you want them to be, you know, we won't put anything explicit in the game, like making that clear. And then Fallout New Vegas is like, no, you can literally tell what each faction's fucking, whether a faction is evil or not, based on how they treat homosexuality. Like Fallout New Vegas like bakes it in and makes it an essential part of the world building, which is good because at the end of the day it's supposed to reflect life, and like gay people existing is part of life, even though some people may not like to accept that. It is legit interesting stuff. It's interesting the contrast between the three companies in terms of how they treat it, because I feel like it starts very strong with, is it Black Isle, the original Fallout developers? The original Fallout developers did such a good job. And then, like, Bethesda comes in and buys it and kind of, like, shaves all that down. Because, let's be honest, they don't want to offend homophobes. Because God forbid we offend homophobes. And then, Obsidian comes in and is like, nah, fuck that noise, actually. Let's do a proper fucking game. And they did. Mr. House cares very little about sexuality, stating that he has no interest in legislating or otherwise dictating what people do in their private time. At Gamora, prostitutes such as Dazzle and Joanna offer sexual services regardless of the customer's gender. Marco in Westside owns a brothel in the Casa Madrid apartments, which offers same-sex services to both genders. Sweetie for females and Jimmy for males. Another prostitute, Maud, makes disparaging remarks about their peers' willingness to sleep with the same-sex partners, calling Sweetie perverted and Jimmy one of those. Players have the option of selecting the perks Cherchez le Femme if female and Confirm Bachelor if male. These perks grant unique same-sex dialogue options with various characters and damage bonuses against the same sex, in addition to the Black Widow and Lady Killer perks for the opposite sex. So basically, you could take Lady Killer and Confirmed Bachelor and be like a bisexual super assassin in Fallout New Vegas, and that automatically makes it the best Fallout game. Bisexual characters can choose a combination of these perks, granting unique dialogue options for both sexes, while asexual characters can opt out altogether. Domestic violence perks? I mean, that assumes that you were in a relationship with the raider that you killed using this perk every time. Alright, let's go through the characters in a second. Asexual rep, let's fucking go. Bruce, have you ever played No Man's Sky? Not No Man's Sky, the other one, the good one. Have you ever played The Outer Worlds? The Outer Worlds has a character in it. I think her name's Parvati. And no joke, some of the best ace representation I think I've ever seen. Really good. I don't play video games. I'm going to stream The Outer Worlds for you then, and you're going to see some... That's a really good game. It was made by Obsidian, the people who made Fallout New Vegas. And a lot of people kind of rejected it because it wasn't more Fallout New Vegas. But it's really good. Honestly, it's the best Doctor Who game I think I've ever played. Like, it's the most you feel like you're the Doctor, like playing that game. Veronica and Christine Royce are members of the Brotherhood of Steel. The two were in a relationship before Christine left due to differences with her parents. Christine can be encountered in the Sierra Madre and informs the courier that Father Elijah, a former Brotherhood elder and the mentor of Veronica, used his status to separate the pair. Evil! Christine also confirms that she and Veronica were lovers. Although when it comes to Fallout, I'm mostly seeing LGB, not much T. That is true. However, we're still in the early 2010s now, I think. But that is a good point. But we'll see if that changes with Fallout 4. It should change with Fallout 4. I feel like it's really their responsibility to, like, do this. I think what they mentioned before in Fallout 2, one of the guards was meant to be, like, either trans or non-binary. Because they had, like, a gender swap voice actor. I think that was what they were trying to do there, Bruce. In a very 90s sort of way. When trying to recruit Arcade Gannon as a companion, a male courier with the Confirmed Bachelor perk can flirt with him. Upon asking Arcade about himself, he sarcastically remarks about why no lucky man has swooped him off his feet yet. Corporal Betsy, an NCR sniper at Camp McCarran, flirts with a female courier with at least 7 charisma. She remarks about her leave coming up and imagines being rolled up in those silk sleets at the Gamora with the courier. If her advances are rejected, Betsy still comes onto the player, stating that they'll never know what you might like if you don't give it a try. When exiting dialogue, she mutters about how she always scares off the hot ones. According to Lieutenant Gorobets, due to a recent traumatic event, Betsy makes passes at every woman who wanders by. Dr. Richards, a doctor stationed at Camp Forlorn Hope, flirts with a courier with the confirmed bachelor perk, calling them pet names such as Buttercup and Dear. Cass mentions to courier with the Cherchez La Femme perk that when she is drunk enough, she does not care who she shares a bed with. There's a lot here, man. Look at these. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There are 16 in fucking Fallout New Vegas, and a fucking essay about the themes and politics and how sexuality is intrinsically measured into the world and placed into the world. And then you have Fallout 3, where some characters maybe are possibly gay. Unbelievable. Is that why they say it's the best game? No, I didn't even know about this. But that's not why they say it's the best game. It's the best game because, it has the best gameplay loop system. It has the best story. It has the best world building. It has some of the best game design of the worlds. It's the least repetitive feeling. And it was made in less than a year. So it gets doubly impressive when you consider the production into thing. And also, all of the DLCs for Fallout New Vegas are all completely different fucking games. They all completely change what the game even is. It's amazing. It's really amazing. Fallout New Vegas might be the best game ever made. And I actually have it sitting right here on my Steam Deck. And I will be streaming it at some point all the way through. So you'll get to experience that. I'll probably do that on fucking Something Blue Audio, to be honest. Alright, so Dr. Dala, a pre-war scientist operating at Big Empty, has an interest in formography, which they described as the excessive examination of the human form to achieve psychological arousal. The courier has the option to arouse them with their bodies regardless of gender, which can be repeated multiple times. If attacked, they scold the courier for hitting a gender-neutral entity such as themselves. Not as good as Lego Dimensions. I don't know, man. Devin, an NCR soldier, wrote a letter to his boyfriend Andrew informing him that he'd get home soon and that they'd party in New Vegas when he gets back, ending with an I love you. As of patch 12031X, this letter can no longer be obtained. Someone needs to mod the love letter back in. Come on, people. Dobson O'Gill was involved in an affair with his colleague, Alan Dalton. Elaine, an NCR soldier, wrote a love letter to her girlfriend Angela, writing that she only enlisted to protect Angela from the Legion, and that she plans to propose to her at the end of her tour. Okay, we have now reached Fallout 4. So we did Fallout 1 and 2, which had very impressive LGBT representation for games from the 90s. And then we did Fallout 3, which frankly was a bit disappointing and milquetoast. And now we have Fallout 4. Wait, no. Then we had Fallout New Vegas. And that was great. That actually had a really solid LGBT representation. And now we're on to Fallout 4. And given that this is the most recent Fallout game, and given when it came out, I'm expecting this to have the best representation. The best. And if it doesn't, then, it kind of sucks, doesn't it? Fallout 4 introduced the ability to romance recruitable companions via the new affinity mechanic, with the exception of Nick Valentine, Deacon, X688, and Old Longfellow. All human companions are romanceable, regardless of gender. Polyamorous players have the option to romance multiple companions without penalty, except while flirting with other characters in an already romanced companion's presence. In previous Fallout titles, gender-specific armor and clothing would transform into an entirely different outfit or alter the appearance to match the player's gender. In Fallout 4, male players can wear feminine clothes, such as dresses, and female players can wear masculine clothes, such as tuxedos and suits, opening up the ability to cross-dress. The game explores the concept of romantic relationships between robots and humans. Is being a robosexual part of LGBT? Is wanting to fuck robots like part of the LGBTQ IA plus like spectrum? Is that how that works? I just think it's really interesting that this one, it's like, well, I mean, you can romance companions except for the interesting ones. I think it's interesting that they say that. They say that you can be poly. Okay. They say that you can cross-dress. And then there's a joke. There's a joke about lol, aren't gay people funny here? Because Gilda Prosco also mentions that her acting partner, Keith McKinney, caught Vince, Natalie, and Sergio Amore at a nightclub in a compromising situation. There's a gay wedding. That's pretty... Wait, no. It's a robot wedding. No. Sorry. Sentient robots, though. Come on. I'm not saying having sex with robots is bad. If the robot can give informed consent, I don't care. Okay? What I'm saying is it part of being LGBT? Like, just by default. You'll have conservatives whining about how robots are indoctrinating children. Probably, yes. Lily Bell and Mary Jane were two married adventurers who worked on the Commonwealth Travel Guide together, a guide that documents various Commonwealth locales with their own dialogue and accounts. Lily mentions meeting Mary while walking out of Fenton, seeing her carry enough firepower to mow down a 10-story Deathclaw, an encounter she described as love at first collision. Aww. One of Lily's most important locations to visit was Sanctuary Hills. On their travels, the two landed in Diamond City, where Lily fell ill and was diagnosed with terminal cancer. They travelled further to visit another doctor in Goodneighbor and were given the same diagnosis. With her condition worsening, Lily and Mary stopped in Bunker Hill and completed the guide from Caravan Hearsay. Lily made Mary promise to properly finish her guide by visiting Sanctuary one day, which she accepts before returning to their home in Quincy. After Lily's death, Mary made a 6-month trek to Sanctuary Hills to complete Lily's guide, though died on the way home. The player is tasked with returning her wedding ring to Lily's grave. Okay, so... Wait. Yeah, no, this is Bury Your Gays. Like, the biggest thing it has in the Fallout 4 section is just about a gay couple that died off screen. One of whom of cancer. Professor Skarner and Dr. Duff, two scientists who work and live together at the Science Center, are stated to be wives. In the script notes, cowardly. Pure cowardice. Oh, apparently Skarner calls Duff dear, so that's okay. If the sole survivor fails to enlist Madison Lee for Liberty Reprimed, they are directed to visit the Science Center to recruit Professor Skarner instead. Although only Duff is present, she tells the player that Skarner has gone missing, mentioning that the two are very close and that she would be distraught if something happened to her. What? Does she die too? Yeah, this feels like a big step backwards. A big step backwards. Colette Cook, daughter of Henry Cook, can be flirted with regardless of gender. When flirted with, she will state that she is not looking for a date, calling a male player sailor and a female player sister. Someone will reject you regardless of your gender. They forgot the gays act. It seems a little bit, because a lot of these, even though they have like a high volume of examples, most of these are just like, they're implied to be gay in a guidebook somewhere, you know. Or it's like a random NPC will say a flirty line to you, regardless of whether you pick a male or female character, which as far as we know, might just be fucking laziness. You know what I mean? Deacon mentions getting a face change to appear as a girl for a few months. That is not representation. That's just Deacon putting on an identity for a fucking mission. Hancock, the mayor of Goodneighbor and a recruitable companion, has a quest in Fallout the role-play game, not in Fallout 4, I would note. Not in Fallout 4. Someone who made the role-playing game had to like put that in themselves. Holly, we did that one. Irma, a co-proprietor of the Memory Den, will flirt with characters of either gender, saying she'd hate to turn a clever boy or girl away. Imagine if she said I'd hate to turn a clever boy or girl away. Cleo, a robot store owner in Goodneighbor, expresses that while her makers designated her as an assaultron, she now chooses to identify as a woman. Well, good for Cleo. Mel, a tech expert working for Bobby No-Nos, has the option to flirt with a male survivor if broken out of jail during the Big Dig. Upon returning with Mel at Goodneighbor, Mel remarks that the character is not so bad to look at. Miranda Song, a resident of Vault 81, recounts meeting women from the outside who had promised to take her away from all this. She handed the women all of her money in the hopes that she would find them a place to live out there. Following months of no contact, Miranda received word from a passing trader who mentions that she saw the woman with a man in Diamond City. Magnolia, a singer in Goodneighbor, has the option to sleep with the player regardless of gender. Trash Can Carla, a caravan merchant, can be responded to sarcastically, with the player stating that they're just looking for love. Carla will call a male player a wise ass and a female player beautiful, but says her loving days are over. Also an Institute spy, so a villain. Andre Michaud, a Mirelurk hunter in Far Harbor with his late husband John. If Andre is healed and woken up, he confides with the player about his last hunting trip with John that ended in his death and Andre's current condition. What do we think of that form of LGBT representation, where you just have someone that, by all appearances, is just like a straight cis man or woman, and then they just offhandedly go, my husband or my wife, and that's the only mention of being LGBT you get, is them just going, my husband, my wife. Like, what do we think of that? Is that good representation or bad representation? Really curious. Chibnall represent a little bit, yeah. It is a bit weird when they say it and it's treated as like, oh, it's a bit offhand and quirky. A man with a husband, can you imagine? It is a bit weird when it's done like that, yes. I agree. Mags Black sent one of her female operators to seduce Savoy, an enforcer for the Disciples, as an attempt to sway him as a contact. After this failed, she sent a male operator to seduce him as well, with similar results. Lambda 8, a runaway simp, had a wife who was a farmer. Unfortunately, no one cares about Fallout 76.